Howdy, y'all. This is me, Laird, back with I think it's part 16 of our Kentucky Route Zero playthrough. I wanted to apologize for kind of abruptly ending last night. The little interlude bit where I chose to open up to the phone, laugh all you want. It woke some stuff up and really just made me have to sit there and process. To not get too emotional. I miss my mom a lot, and it just really I put myself in a spot where I was thinking about her a lot. But with that in mind, let's finish this playthrough up. Hopefully we can finish tonight. We have been doing this for almost a week. That gas station isn't anchored to anything. It follows the current. We might run into it anywhere along the river. Kate just starts looking for it when she's low on fuel, and the Echo provides. It's not usually on the lake, though. That was strange. Kate likes to wait until the very last minute to refuel. Yeah, she's a thrill seeker, and never guess it. She always seems so centered, doesn't she? I've always thought so. Maybe that's why she enjoys rocking the boat a little. She knows she can stay upright through a little bad weather, so she can just relax and enjoy the chaos. I admire her confidence. But there was plenty of chaos to go around that night already with that ugly storm upstairs. Though we didn't know the extent of the flood damage yet at that point. Anyway, my mechanical musician friends went ashore for a bit too, looking for some snack foods. Kate doesn't stock anything aboard the Mucky Mammoth that doesn't grow wild, and it's not to everyone's taste, or maybe just stretch their legs and charge their batteries. They came back looking refreshed. I'm sure they needed that moment to themselves. You wouldn't think a pair that made their living performing on a stage could be so introverted, but they really were. In their way. Sure, they had plenty of friends along the river, where they traveled and performed often in those days, but I think nobody else really got through. That inner circle was drawn with two strokes, for a while anyway. Naturally, I assume they met the gas station attendant, a man as anonymous and itinerant as the place itself. I assume he talked the ear off, everyone on this river does. But I know that fellow well enough to know he wouldn't want us reminiscing on him now. So, came back aboard, Mammoth refueled. We ambled on towards the rum colony. Shannon followed the other travelers ashore to a drowsy beachside bar called the Rum Colony. Act 4, Scene 3. The Rum Colony. She's wearing Conway's jacket. Interesting. A damp matchbook rests on top of the sand. Shannon flips it open without looking, runs her thumb across the cardboard and finds one match still intact. She stares at it, stares ahead, transfixed by the texture on her fingertip, and she wonders if it will flake apart or leave her hands smelling and feeling fire the rest of the night. Or the cold lake water had already washed away that part of the match. That part that smells and feels like fire. Junebug, Hey, guess who I just saw? Like an hour ago. That lady with the engine for sale? You just missed her. Tried to hold her back, but she's all business. How are you, Patch? Oh, man. You know, Carl had that gig for a minute at House of T-Shirts, but they went out of business. If our numbers were better here, he could just work on his record and it'd be fine, but you know how it is. For now, he's selling flowers on the river. Say hi if you pass him. Hey, any of your friends want a drink? I got time. Busy night, but everyone's deep in their straws by now. What have you been mixing up? Let's see, what's good tonight? Potent Navy on the beach? What's that like? Chill a tall glass with a little black curacao at the bottom. Then just keep pouring in white rum till it starts to turn blue. Add orgeat syrup, white curacao, and stale jerky. Some folks like pineapple juice. I always include a couple olives. Ooh, iridescent devil? What's that like? 1 shot, 151 proof rum, 2 shots of white rum, stale jerky, let it sit for a while, throw a couple olives on top. I want to go till I find a cocktail without olives. What else you got? The Dark Death. What's that like? 1 shot gold rum, 2 shots of light rum, stale jerky, let it sit for a while. Throw a little umbrella on top. Wait, is this just like procedural cocktail generation without rules? Or without, like, knowledge of alcohol? My clear heaven. What's that like? 1 part stale jerky, 3 parts spiced rum. I throw a plastic skull on there to soften the blow. I really want to print. I don't drink. Like, to be clear, I don't drink. But I want to take that and just walk into a bar with it on a piece of paper. And just show them this. Like, it specifies stale jerky. And I also like how Junebug will not accept the drink. Like, you can't say, sure, I'll have one. You can ask for a potent tongue. Just enough dark rum to make your toes tingle. Add stale jerky and grapefruit juice to taste. Refrigerate, and that's it. I mean, I know there's some real cocktails out there with like butter in them, and olives, and tomato juice, and grapefruit juice. But jerky. You know, I'm gonna make a tweet real quick. And I'll do this when I'm not recording. Because this isn't meant to be a serious playthrough. Tapperful, thank you for the resub for 5 months. We're kind of cracking up over these cocktails. To the point I think I've broken like character the most in this playthrough so far, from a narrator point of view. Just enough dark rum to make your toes tingle. I love it. Like, what else I got? Old and sweet. What's that like? Just enough flat rum to make your legs sting. Then add green curacao and stale jerky to taste. Pour over ice, and that's it. Night Hero Wolf, thank you. I just really cracked up at these. They're just so out of pocket. But no drinks for us. Thanks. No problem. See you around. I'm so glad to see you here. These kooks are bumming me out, man. See that guy in the sand over there? He rolled up kind of off-center, you know, kind of leaning on the stage there and was like, what kind of strings are those? Steel or nylon? Oh, he's just drunk. Oh, believe me, I know. Gotta be cool about it or just get a drink and stay in your chair, man. If you're gonna drink like that, just drink. I mean, don't make it my problem. Hey, how's that new tape going? Oh yeah, it's good, man. I mean, it's okay. Everything's recorded, but I still want to do another pass on it. Maybe work on the mix, but there's no rush on that because I don't have the cash for blank tapes right now anyway. Patch threw me some bookings, so I'm trying to fund it with tips, but you know, we're all paying a premium for blank media these days. Everyone's afraid we're dubbing garbage off the radio, so they only sell blank tapes in pallets or overpriced 3-packs. Totally cut out the small labels and self-publishers. Crystal and Gordon are just recording over old tapes for their new one. Can you believe that? Save some cash, I guess, but you're always going to have old frequencies bleeding through. It's just chemistry, man. Hey, speaking of which, I'm up mid-set here. Can you take the can around while I play this next one? It's on tape. I think you'll like it, man. Thanks. Hello. Yeah, let me talk to Dr. Vincent. Sure you have the right number? No, I'm pretty sure I dialed it right. Check the back. Usually hangs out in the back. We don't really have a back here. What? Every place has got a back. You got a front, right? Of course you do. So the back is on the other side. What place you trying to call? Place where Dr. Vicenti's at. Look, this doesn't have to be complicated. Hey man, I got other things to do. When you see him, just say I called, alright? She didn't have to do that. Had to hurt. That's the way it goes. The unsteady steadying the unsteady. Probably a $5 bill somewhere just floating up and down the river from tip jar to musician to tip jar to musician. Like an eternal ferry of good intentions. Hey, did you hear the ice caps are melting? I mean, the polar ice caps. The ones all the way at the top. Don't listen to him, hon. He's all doom and gloom tonight. Don't listen. That's the answer, Dawn. Well, what else can you do? Someday all this will be underwater. We'll all be drowned. What can you do? Maybe it's better that way. Great. Another pessimist. You two have fun. I'll be drowning in this Mai Tai. I bet the Mai Tai has jerky in it. He's just in a dark mood because the bar is crowded tonight. He likes to spread out. You know toxic runoff has decimated the deer population, right? Oh no. That's what they say in a recent study anyway. I believe them. Acid rain, you know. Useless any day now. Sure, I heard it in a recent study, so I take it as gospel. Worthless gospel, but gospel nonetheless. Yeah, I try not to think about it. Everyone should be. Sonny, you're insufferable. Yup, sounds like him. Our friend Cyrano is booked here tonight. He's pretty good. He's a wizard. A wizard of the lap steel guitar. You two coming ashore? Oh, sure, we'll be up in a minute. Couldn't hold me back. Oh, I don't know. Kate says just to wander back whenever. This is a take it easy kind of stop. She doesn't even blow the foghorn to round up the crew here. No point. Something about this spot is like wax in the ear when it comes to timetables and responsibilities. Supposed to meet someone here earlier tonight about some bike parts. Hope she's still around. Oh, I'm sure she is, ma'am. Half sleeping into fragrant mug. All the other wayward sailors. Cited these two out of order. Interesting. I wonder if any of the crew's here. Because I know those two are up there. Like, I've kind of passed seat right there. Toxic runoff. That's his latest rant, but I'm not surprised by anything anymore. Before this was bovine growth hormones and global warming. No, he's harmless. Just don't know him anymore, that's all. Takes bits and pieces of things he reads and synthesizes it all into some grand theory. And it's always the end of the world. But who could know that stuff, right? We can't even predict the weather, I mean. Take all these little pieces and predict they're all going to interact, well, you know everything. Tell you what I do with that kind of knowledge. When I first met a man, I'd look at his shoes and the kind of books he reads and what he eats for breakfast. And I'd make sure we weren't going to spend our twilight years greedily emptying Mai Tais and arguing about toxic runoff. Well, you know what's about hindsight. Here's to a better yesterday. There she is. You have to try one of these flower drinks. Feel like I could drink 100 of them. Too sweet, not too strong, you know, a real session drink. We'll be scraping you off the beach. No, it's not one of those really strong drinks, just sorta. It doesn't taste like a flower. I mean, not like a flower smells, you know. Perfumed, sickly sweet, like a star thistle flower. You know, my mother was obsessed with those awful weeds. We had a small house just about leaned up against a hill. Every spring, that hill would explode with yellow star thistle. And she'd tear into them wild, I mean, really enraged by it. Said they were an invasive species, like foreign squatters on her land or something. Used to think she was such a wicked old lady to get so violent about it. After she died, I mean a few years after, came by the house again. It was spring, but I didn't see a single yellow flower on that hill. She must have finally gotten them. Maybe they followed her home. More old stuff. I'm drowning in old stuff tonight. Feels like I've got it piled up around me like one of those old guys you hear about who never threw anything away. You know what I mean? Don't worry about all that stuff. Just try to stay in the here and now. Yeah, it's a nice idea, but I'll tell you what, I'm learning tonight. I don't belong in the here and now. That check's been cashed. Sorry, I'm not making sense, am I? I just mean to say I can't look at anything without remembering something else, and then that reminds me of something else, and I'm buried in it. I just need to get my head clear for a minute, get a clear view of the day, get oriented. There was a time when I felt this way. I'd bite the bullet, try to sober up and get a job. Is that why you're going to work for the distillery? Oh, maybe it is. Seems like a pretty simple answer, right? Just follow the work as long as you can. You got me all figured out. Hey, I'm going to sit and look at the water for a minute. I'll talk to you later. Don't be a stranger. styrofoam cup is half buried in the sand. Miraculously intact, it still has some coffee in it. Maybe it came from the bar. Maybe someone dropped it in here on their way to the bar. Maybe they drank their coffee too fast and needed a stiff counterbalance. Shannon thinks about the war liquids in the stomach. Coffee to start the day, liquor to end it, apple cider vinegar to patch the battlefield. Mouth feels dry. Thinks about all the nervous casualties of the liquid war. Clumsy alchemists transmute day into night. She thinks about a chalky gray-pink liquid her mother kept for upset stomachs. Stored in a coffee cup, too. Something glints black in the flashlight's beam. Shannon brushes sand off a damaged VHS tape. The smudge label on the spine reads, "Private. Do not watch, but do not erase." Lewis yelling, "The water's fine, invigorating. It makes me want to run, gallop up and down this beach like a horse." Cork boom. What's he yelling about? He wants to run on the beach like a horse, he says. Oh dear. What's in these drinks? Your friend's laying in the sand over there. Think he's asleep. Poor Rick, he's a lightweight. Think he just drank too fast. It's easy to get carried away. Oh, he always gets so melancholy when he drinks. Remember the office picnic at that big flat rock? Night Hero Wolf, thank you for the bit. Oh, I remember. He was talking Lula's ear off. She slipped away and he fell on the ground. Nursing that brown bottle, crying, sobbing about the days there are no more. Poor Rick, it'll never be. Invigorating. Catch anything, Lewis? So, find what you're looking for? With Lula, I mean. It's a work in progress. I know what you mean. I've been working on... I think I will go for a run along the beach. As soon as I'm finished with this drink. Try not to yell so loud, Lewis. I'm afraid you'll shake the ceiling loose. Shannon finds a small box about the right size for an injured baby bird or a couple mice. This box is only full of sand. She rolls a few grains in her fingertips. It feels different from the sand under her toes. Finer and slicker. She has a feeling this is sand from a different beach. But Night Hero, genuinely, I do appreciate that bit. You did not have to do that. Junebug, well, that was a pleasant detour. Yes, ma'am. Ready to get moving? But you round up the old man if you can tear him free. Hello! Happy to be in the here and now? I heard a shuffling, or are you dragging your feet, or just enjoying the sand between your toes? Yeah, it's nice to slow down for a minute. We have time. Lots of glass here. Patches boys load the empties on the barge. Told them try and keep it separated in its own little pile that way. Get to disposing of it. Any environmentally minded folks present can easily set them aside for recycling. I love the river, but don't care for the current. It's too relentless. Lake Lethe, though, is calm, cold, and deep. At any opportunity, I'm ashore meditating. One day I might be left behind. Wanted to ask you something. I thought of it earlier, but it didn't seem like it was the right time. I'm sure you know what I'm getting at. You wanted to ask about my friend, the old man? Oh no, I think I read him pretty clearly. He's a outwards reflecting kind of person. I mean, he reflects the world back out, largely uncolored. You and I were inward reflecting, I think. Means we prefer to nurture the best and worst of ourselves in quiet and interior spaces. That's okay. Wouldn't you agree? Is that what you wanted to ask? No, it was. Well, I forget it now. Typical. An untouched drink sits on a table. Forgotten or abandoned. Simply wasted. Oh, the skeleton's here. Yeah, you're right about that. I never quite thought of it that way. Who are you talking to? Oh, no, it's nothing. Hey, let's get out of here. Work to be done, right? And once we reach the next stop, I will end this recording and we will start the next one. Season and mist, but beneath that quarter-acre swarm of moths, that's Atticus domestica, the uncommon, prominent diamondback moth. Make their homes near moving water. Is a quarter-acre sunflower orchard. Beneath that sunflower orchard, there are two small lots with small houses positioned so they butt right up against each other. The houses are empty now of human life. There's no sign of a person or anything living except for moths and overgrowth. There are some pipes bolted into the cave wall near the perimeter and a few stone scars where other pipes have been ripped away by scavengers. Those once supported the large grow lamps that fed the sunflowers. The lamps are gone now. Once this crop of sunflowers is picked away, it's unlikely anything will grow here but lichen moss and rock formations. The uncommon, prominent diamondback moth will move on. Houses will be visible again, at least until somebody strips them for building materials. Or until the river washes them away. The houses were once inhabited by two sisters. Why they built their houses so close together or lived in any proximity at all is a mystery, since they clearly despised one another. It's possible the neighboring houses were an attempt at reconciliation. It didn't work, if anything. Close quarters just turned up the pressure till those decades of closely held resentment and animosities were neared to the boiling over. All that energy had to go somewhere, and both sisters had the same idea. Took up gardening. They both cultivated sunflowers, an improbable crop for this location. Too improbable to be coincidence. Maybe the sunflowers have special meaning for them, or maybe when one sister saw her rival sowing the impossible seeds, she knew at once she couldn't bear to be outdone. Which sister had the greener thumb, we'll never know. The stalks tangled, the roots knotted, seeds mixed, those gangless sunflowers merged the two lots into one undifferentiated field. The two sisters moved out, probably around the time the moths started showing up. Of course, there was no selling the lots then, overgrown and bug-chewed as they were. In fact, if those sisters ever tried to sell, they'd be in for a rude shock. Not long ago, a property tax clerk, having seen the two adjoining lots registered to the same last name, presumed they belonged to the same owner and erased the legal border between them. This will be the end of this recording. I'm going to start another one in just a second. See you in a moment.